Hapkido is a wrist lock technique. It is a technique to immobilize the opponent's action and reaction. You must grip the wrist of the opponent with your thumb and 3 terminal fingers tightly. Leave your index free. And put your elbow close to your body and position your body close to the opponent. You must always put your sight on the top of the opponent and push your forearm to the opponent's forearm as closely as you can. And grab the opponent's elbow to secure leverage for locks. One hand grips the elbow, the other wrist. Then push the opponent backward. Once he gets down to the floor, continue the press until he gives in. This is Hapkido, step in wrist lock in technique. Secure the opponent's elbow and wrist. Keep the angle of his arm vertical to his posture. Then continue to step forward until he goes down to the floor. When you grip the wrist of the opponent, make sure your thumb and 3 terminal fingers are tightly grabbing the opponent's wrist. And you must leave your index free so that you can have freedom to use according to different angles in different situations. This is a Hapkido, turning step, wrist lock out technique. First, grip the wrist and elbow as a base for the leverage. As soon as the grip is secured, twist the opponent's body toward the outside. And then, take down to the floor. In this technique, turning step is used to prevent any possible usage of the opponent's other hand to counter blow or grab you. So you must move quickly and suddenly, but forcefully. Even after he is down on the floor, continue the press. This is 위로 꺾어 사방 유인법, 4-directional side step, wrist lock up technique. Once you secure the elbow and wrist, step forward to press the opponent's energy, and then pull toward you to release the opponent's reacting energy. Then suddenly change the angle 90 degrees. Then, once the opponent's reaction is quite matured, then suddenly change it to the 180-degree opposite direction. Always make sure you are holding his wrist and elbow firmly and tightly. 위로 꺾어 사방 유인법 is a technique to confuse the opponent by controlling the movement direction any way you want. The key is in your constant movement and sudden changes of the angle of your movement, and not allowing the opponent have the time to adjust and readjust to your action. This is 비틀어 바깥 꺾기, reverse wrist lock out technique. First, secure the wrist and elbow using your wrist grip as a leverage. Spin your body clockwise. Still hold the wrist and elbow grip tightly, keeping your body as straight as possible. Once the momentum begins, the center of your leverage will naturally move from the wrist side to the elbow grip hand. His elbow will be the center of the spin and wrist an accelerator. This is 역 비틀어 바깥 꺾기. It's called the reverse wrist lock out technique. From the reverse wrist lock technique, reverse again the direction of the technique totally in the opposite direction. Then keep turning counterclockwise, holding the grip firmly close to your body. Of course, you must always watch out what your opponent is doing, what he's going to do with his other hand and feet. Now, here are some very important principles in reversing the technique. 1. Keep the opponent's body close to you. 2. Keep your elbow close to your body. 3. Lower the center of your gravity. 4. Keep your upper body straight. 5. Tighten and release. Tighten and release. This is a 눌러꺾기, press wrist lock technique. After securing the wrist and elbow, pull the elbow and press down the wrist in perpendicular angle to the ground. Simultaneously, do a few steps back, lowering your entire body to the ground quickly, in order to magnify the acting force on the wrist. All these 꺾기 techniques are looking very simple and easy to manipulate, but it is extremely painful technique. Therefore, before you engage in any form of a practice, do enough warming up and stretching exercise for your wrist and elbow and shoulder. When you perform the technique, always tighten and release opponent's wrist so that you condition the opponent's anticipation until you completely control the opponent's maneuver. This is a 비틀어 밀어꺾기, reverse pushing wrist lock technique. Grab the wrist and twist it round, making the fingers of the opponent face his bicep, his palm facing you. Secure his elbow on your body, pull his wrist down toward you, and keep walking toward him by pushing his elbow with your own body weight. This technique is attacking inside and outside the forearm muscles as well as the nervous system. When you pull the opponent's wrist, it will give extremely sharp electric stimulus to the target muscles. The more abruptly you pull, the sharper the stimulus is. The harder you pull, the more painful it is. So be careful in your practice because the pain is real. This is 비틀어 당겨 눌러 꺾기, reverse pull and press wrist lock technique. After the reverse wrist grab is done, pull the wrist and elbow toward you. When the momentum is going on, suddenly press the wrist down toward your front foot and keep pressing. Wrist lock techniques are very subtle in nature. It appears less powerful than kicking while punching. However, they're extremely painful. They don't give you black and blue, but they just paralyze your wrist. Wrist is one of the most vulnerable parts of a human body. It reveals endless possibilities for weakness. So, when you are engaging in confrontation, don't allow your wrist being grabbed. If you are grabbed already, apply these gokki techniques to counterattack, to subdue your assailant. In this technique, there are 3 leverages that confine the opponent's movement: his wrist, elbow, and the ground. Make sure you are absolutely securing your own leverage before you control the opponent. Twist the wrist outward of the opponent's body and push his elbow slightly upward so that his elbow and yours pressing each other. Then, make your entire body and his body move together as one unit in a circular course. In gokki technique, staying close to the opponent's body is a critical factor to control the situation, as well as not to allow any possible counterattack. This is a combination of a bitter gokki, which is a reverse wrist lock technique, and a 역 bitter gokki, reverse wrist lock technique. Reversal of a momentum is very effective in 2 cases. The first is when the opponent tries to counterattack. The second is when the effectiveness of the previous technique decreases. There are 8 important things to remember for gokki technique. 1. Grip the wrist of the opponent with your thumb and 3 terminal fingers tightly. 2. Leave your index free. 3. Put your elbow close to your body. 4. Position your body close to the opponent. 5. Put your eye always on top of the situation. 6. Push your forearm to the opponent's forearm as closely as you can. 7. Grab opponent's elbow to secure leverage for locks. 8. Attack the particular nervous system according to the technique you apply. Once you master all these basic elements for wrist lock techniques, you will have much more confidence in your maneuvering, and you can be more economical in the usage of the energy by avoiding excessive force. This is 비틀어 바깥 꺾어 팔 꺾어 누르기. Reverse wrist lock out armbar pinion. Grip the wrist and elbow. Reverse the momentum to the outside of the opponent's body. When it works, go further until the technique gives impact on the opponent's wrist. Now his body is set in motion, getting adjusting to the technique. Then reverse the momentum with a 팔 꺾어 누르기, armbar pinion, on the ground. Grabbing the elbow and wrist with your thumb and 3 terminal fingers are basic for 꺾기 technique. Then you are reversing the body momentum by pressing the wrist and pulling opponent's elbow toward your body. Then your body is keep turning to the direction while you are moving. Then press elbow up and then reverse the momentum into armbar technique and pull the wrist toward you and press the elbow with your entire body weight. Once opponent's body is going down, your body also is following to the ground to finish the situation into the pinion technique. This is 팔 꺾어 비트로 바깥 꺾기. Armbar reverse wrist lock out technique. By pressing the elbow, you are doing armbar technique and suddenly reversing the momentum into 비트로 바깥 꺾기. Reverse wrist lock out technique. Once the opponent is falling down on the floor, press the elbow and pull the wrist toward you, and then create a triangle shape with his forearm and bicep and wrist. In this position, you must pull the wrist toward you. At the same time, push the elbow in 15 to 45 degree angular direction to prevent him from being bouncing back and throwing back fist with the other hand or kicking at you. Now you secured elbow and wrist and creating armbar technique position. Then suddenly by pressing the elbow down, moving the wrist up, you are going into reversal of the momentum. Then wrist lock out technique to the ground. You are securing opponent's elbow and wrist very firmly and very close. Once he is down, you are pressing the elbow toward him so that he doesn't move around. Then pull the wrist and then secure the position. Now this is a combination of a pushing wrist lock technique and the pulling toward you technique. And pushing and pulling are the opposite type of a movement. Therefore, it generates unexpected power to create the pain to the opponent's body. Now turning to the inside direction of the opponent and then again reversing the momentum into outside direction. Once that momentum is matured, you must secure each part of the opponent's body so that you don't lose him or he doesn't counterattack. Now the momentum is keep increasing, then reverse the technique into armbar technique. Once the opponent's body is hitting the ground, your entire body is following him to finish with the armbar pinion on the ground. 꺾기 is an essential part of 전사도 technical system, along with the 중봉, 상봉, 장봉, 대봉, 단검술, to be a combat master. 전사도 is the way of a combat expert. The principles are grounded on the law of nature. Junsado is not only a combat strategy to win, but also a philosophy of a change, the change to adapt to the changing phenomena, and harmony to become one with the conflicting force. Junsado Gokki techniques consist of 6 fundamentals with 108 variations. The fundamentals are wrist lock up, wrist lock in, wrist lock out techniques, and reverse, wrist lock up, and reverse, wrist lock in, and reverse, wrist lock out technique. From these 6 fundamentals, many different types of variations are coming from. Once you master these 6 basics, you can combine of each to create different combination techniques. This is 비틀어 바깥 꺾어 날개 꺾기. Reverse wrist lock out, wing twist, and rear arm lock technique. Once you secure the wrist lock technique, drop your body suddenly perpendicular to the ground. Then opponents will try to resist. Then pull up the elbow and press the wrist down. That will magnify the pain. Then he might try to stand up or counterattack. Then pull the opponent's wrist toward you and push the elbow higher. Once the initial ground technique is secured, then you can change your position to ensure your superiority by pulling the wrist and pushing the elbow, and then move in close to the opponent. Get his back down on the floor. Continuously press the elbow and pull the wrist toward you, and intensify the pressure. Once the second technique is done, you can reverse his body upside down and go to wing twist, and then rear arm lock technique. First, you have secured his wrist and elbow into a wrist lock technique. Then suddenly, you're dropping your body to magnify the pain in the wrist and elbow area. Once you are down, to prevent any resistance from the opponent, you are manipulating the amount of inner force to his elbow and wrist. Once the wrist and elbow are secured, you can easily change the format of the body to magnify the pain. Now, these type of techniques are extremely painful. Always before you engage in practice, make sure you do enough warming up and stretching and conditioning exercise for your wrist, elbow, and shoulder. Now the opponent is on the floor, so you are securing the second technique by creating triangle force frame by pulling the wrist and pushing the elbow and constantly press. Then reverse his body upside down and then do the rear arm lock technique on the floor. This is another type of a 비틀어 바깥 꺾어 팔 꺾기, reverse wrist lock out and armbar pinion technique. First, you are creating reverse wrist lock out technique, and then you are moving into armbar pinion on the floor. Once the armbar technique is done, you are lifting his arm, still his elbow is pressed by your hand, and then you are sitting down on his body, still constantly pressing his elbow, and you are pushing his wrist toward him and creating maximum pain on his shoulder. You have studied some fundamental 전사도 꺾기 wrist lock technique. Whatever technique you practice, keep in mind the 8 fundamental tips that I mentioned earlier. Practice makes perfect. Watch it, imitate it, try it, visualize it, and practice it over and over and over. This is an extension of number 16 called the 비틀어 바깥 꺾어 팔 누르기, reverse outward lock arm press. After initial wrist lock, move into armbar pinion on the floor. From the floor armbar position, while pressing the elbow, lift the wrist and press the wrist toward the shoulder. Then move your body over his back and press his arm vertically toward his shoulder. When he tries to roll around, press his back with your foot. While practicing, do not overextend the shoulder of your partner. First, make reverse wrist lock, then move into armbar pinion on the floor. Always keep your elbow close to your body as much as possible, because it generates more power. Now from the floor, press the elbow and lift the wrist and press it toward the shoulder. When you make sure you are in complete control, move your body over his body and press his arm vertically toward his shoulder. This is a 밀어 당겨 누르기, push and pull press lock. Grab the wrist, push him while pulling his wrist toward you, then quickly pull him down and increase pressure on his wrist. First, grab his elbow and wrist and pull his wrist while you are supporting his elbow with your left hand. While you are pushing his elbow, use your elbow to control his head. This is a 팔 꺾어 비트로 날개 꺾기. Armbar reverse lock wing twist. As soon as you finish armbar, quickly reverse the direction and lock the wrist. Then push him down to the floor on his stomach. And finish it with a wing twist lock. When you grab his arm, keep your upper body straight and keep your elbow close to your body. As soon as he hit the floor, reverse the direction with your arm and change to wing twist. Then press elbow and hold wrist firmly. This is a 손목 싸잡기, wrapping wrist lock. Make a quick 2-point grab of wrist and elbow and turn your body quickly. And confine his arm with your arm and press his elbow on your body. Wrap the wrist with your hands and keep walking forward and laterally unexpectedly. The key of this technique is complete control of wrist and elbow and the quick change of directions in your movement. As soon as you sense he's trying to punch you with the other hand, quickly turn your body away from it. This is a 바깥 꺾어 손목 싸잡기, outward lock wrapping wrist. Make a 2-point grip counterclockwise, then quickly bring his arm in your chest. Pull his wrist and push his elbow on your upper stomach. Then wrap his wrist with both of your hands. Make a 2-point contact and reverse the wrist, and then bring his arm in front of you. Press his elbow on your body, and then pull the wrist toward you to intensify pain. Then grab the wrist with your both hands. This is a 손목 당겨 바깥 꺾어 날개 꺾기, wrist pull outward lock and wing twist. After pairing the punching, Gently pull it to the punching direction and smoothly reverse the direction counterclockwise. When he falls on the ground, make a wing twist and press the elbow against his body. First parry the punching, grab the elbow and wrist, and then reverse outward. Then take him down on the floor and reverse the arm direction and grab the elbow and press the wrist. This is a 손목 당겨, 팔 꺾어 누르기, wrist pull arm lock press. Gently parry and pull the punching hand. Quickly make a reverse hook lock on his shoulder, putting him down to arm bar and arm press on the floor. Parry his punch and pull his punching hand gently and quickly make a reverse hook lock on his shoulder and putting him down. Get close to his body and then press his arm using your body weight. This is a 등타 팔 꺾기, riding back armbar. Pull the punching hand and make an outward lock, then armbar to the floor. When you pin him down completely on the floor, ride on his back and make a vertical armbar. Parry the punching arm, then reverse hook, then putting it down to the armbar on the floor. Use your body weight to press his elbow. Once you completed the pinning, ride over on his back. Then relax your shoulder and press wrist and elbow. In various situations, such as pushing, punching, slashing, you can combine any or all of the techniques that we studied so far. The most important thing is the mastery of basic elements. Then practice them in front of a mirror or in your car alone. Slowly first, then gradually faster. Wrist lock begins with a good eyes, good posture, good grip, good direction, good reversal, good angle, and good pinion. Whatever you do, integrate all these elements in your training. You may not be perfect in look, but you will protect yourself. In technique number 1, your primary responses are evasion and parrying. Parrying also provides your grabbing spot to secure your leverage. Then attach your entire body to the back of the opponent and insert your other arm under the assailant chin. Now pull his chin away from the center line. At the same time, pull the other hand toward you to increase the effectiveness of your force. Step 1, evasion and parrying, and then securing the leverage. Attach your entire body to the opponent, and insert your arm under the chin and push his chin away from the center line and pull the other wrist toward you. The primary response is evasion, parrying, and securing your leverage as technique number 1. Attach your body entirely to the back of the opponent. Insert your arm under the chin. Get the face away from you. And pull the other wrist toward you to reinforce your technique. Then inside kick to the rear knee of the opponent and take him down. Once you go down on the floor, re-secure your balance and then develop your choking technique further to the unconsciousness of the assailant. First, evasion, parrying, securing the leverage, attaching your body, and inserting the arm. Take his face away. Reinforce your technique by pulling the wrist. Now with the rear leg, do the inside kick to the rear leg. Once he goes down to the floor, now re-establish your balance and good posture and develop your choking technique further to the unconsciousness. Against opponent action, identify the course of the moving weapon. Then close in to the open space deceptively. And then, once you get in, find all vital points that you can strike or grab. In this technique, it's elbow and neck. Now identify the course of the moving weapon, then close in the distance into the open space. Then secure the elbow with your elbow by hyperextending his joint, and then press the neck with the arc hand. This technique will create pain that he becomes unable to respond. Junsado techniques follow the principles consistently. This is primary response called cut-in, then secondary response called chin-lock, then ending the technique by taking the assailant down to the ground by intensifying the pain to the degree of his disability. First, assess the situation and choose one of 4 primary responses. Here, you chose cut in. Then finish with a secondary response, such as striking, kicking, or locking. Here, you chose locking the chin technique. Once you are successful in standing locking, take the assailant down to the floor and intensify the pain to the degree of his disability. Your primary response here is evasion. Then leverage is secured by holding opponent's arm. Then the secondary response is arm throw. The leverage for arm throw is grabbing the opponent's wrist and pressing the inside bicep. Then take the opponent's weapon and finish the situation by striking to the head. Junsado has 4 primary responses. The first is evading, second is parrying, third is blocking, fourth is cut in. Now let's develop technique number 5 further into reverse armbar on the floor. After evasion, you do the arm throw and then grab the taken weapon, strike the opponent, then grip the wrist tight and reverse the body and press the elbow. Then anchor his arm right on your knee to intensify the pain to the hyperextended elbow. First evasion and then securing the leverage, arm throw, striking the opponent with the taken weapon, then reverse the body position into reverse armbar, and then press the elbow. Your primary response is pairing. The secondary response is knee kicking to the rib cage. Then elbow striking to the rear neck of the opponent. Then frontal headlock. Pairing is done by redirecting the force of the attacker's weapon. You must develop the required ability of anticipation and timing. Practice recognizing the initial movement of common attacks in your daily training. Your primary response here is blocking and thrusting. Then the secondary response is spider taking down by arm bar. Once on the floor, do the arm lock by hyperextending the bicep muscles with the arm lock technique. To help you improve your wrestling technique, here are 5 tips that will be useful to remember. 1. Use your natural body mechanics. 2. Use your natural laws of combat. 3. Take full advantage of your physical strength. 4. Work within your limits. 5. Economize your movement. For cheposul, the most instant and spontaneous response is the best tactic, because you don't give a second chance for the assailant to prepare further, and you can boldly move in and get your job done. In technique number 9, your primary response is blocking and cutting in, and then press point on the neck by arc hand. Once you go down to the floor, press the vital point right below the ear, which is called the cheonryong. At the same time, your left thumb will press the vital point on the arm, called the goktaek. Now your primary response is blocking and cutting in. Once you cut in, grab the wrist of the opponent and insert your other arm between the V shape of opponent's bending elbow. Then secure the leverage with your elbow and then press the wrist down to the floor. At this point, keep opponent's arm always in triangle shape. Once you get the opponent down on the floor, pull the hair with the other hand and secure the arm and headlock position. The triangle establishes a force frame. It's a structural positioning of the body that is used to create leverage. In attacking, the center of your body makes 1 point, and your other two arms make 1 each. The 3-point must be so tightly constructed that you can totally immobilize your opponent. Evading and covering your face is the primary response. Then cut in to secure the opponent's swinging arm. Then push the chin away from you by palm pushing. And then diagonal headlock choking. Once you get the opponent's body, keep moving your body to the direction in which opponents feel most disoriented and unbalanced. Most of our wrestling techniques are short-range infighting. According to the book Combat Strategy, 전사도, The Way of the Warrior, short-range combat is filled with surprise attacks and infighting. Because you are so close to your opponent, he will not be able to see your entire body at any one time. Use hidden weapons to attack and demoralize him. Infighting is excellent against anyone who likes to keep you at a distance and work his strategy. Get inside his range and prevent him from attacking effectively. This is called 풍차 돌리기. 풍차 is a windmill. 돌리기 means to spin around upside down. When your opponent attacks your face with a weapon, go under and topple off his entire body with a 풍차 돌리기 technique. This is a so intimidating experience for the opponent. The punching target is a 천룡, called mandibular joint vital point. Surprise and unexpectedness are the key in cheposul. 전사도 techniques are grounded in the principles of change. Changes in you, changes in your opponent, changes in the environment are all considered in 전사도 strategy. It is a living art. Stamp kick is a good way to finish up the 풍차 돌리기 technique. Since 풍차 돌리기 disorient the opponent totally unexpectedly, stamp kick gives devastating damage to the opponent. The target is called 하관, the vital point near the eardrum. Primary response is evasion and cut in, and then throwing technique by 풍차 돌리기. Once the opponent is completely on the floor, finish the technique with a stamp kick on the target area called 하관. Prior to the arresting technique, you are doing the hook kick to the rear knee of the opponent to take him down. Once he is down, your choices are many. The chance for your attacking is when the opponent's weapon is at utmost height. When your opponent wanted to get your head, then you go to the other extreme. Get his ankle, calf, or rear leg. And once he is down, chances are your advantage. In this technique, you are doing low spin sweep kick to the rear knee of the opponent. As soon as he comes at your head, evade by ducking, then go down to the ground and do spin sweep kick quickly and powerfully, with your full body weight on your kick. You must always monitor your opponent carefully. This technique is a ground hook kick to the 낭심, groin section. When you are attacked to the high section, counter-attacking lower section is more efficient than higher section. In combat, don't be confined by the common senses. Open your mind to the all different possibilities. Your primary response is evasion by ducking, then secure low kick leverage by landing one or two hands on the ground, and aim the target. After kicking, monitor the opponent's reaction carefully. Cut in to the back of the opponent. When opponent initiates any move, try to discover the root of your attack. rear side is always the most vulnerable blind spot of any living being. Once he is down, your choices are striking, kicking, locking, and pinning. Go in to the right behind of the eye of the hurricane. Once you get in, conform your body movement with the opponent's movement and then take him down. It is a total surprise and disorienting experience for the opponent. Once he is down, then immediately follow up with the knife hand striking to the vital point called 청명. 청명 is the nose bone vital point. 전사도 techniques are grounded in the principles of change. Change in you, change in your opponent, change in environment. They evolve and adapt to meet the challenges of combat. This technique is very unconventional but effective to intimidate your opponent. The name is called 꼬리 뽑기, tail picking, while your other hand pull the hair of the opponent. Your primary response is blocking and grabbing the opponent's wrist, and then get it down, and then switch your grabbing hand. Once you secure the opponent's wrist, pull the hair from behind. This is a total intimidation for the opponent. This is a conventional arm handling technique. Block, grab, clockwise circling down, and throwing the opponent down. And then you can go to the either arm locking technique or striking technique. The striking vital point is 천령, the side area of the chin, while you're holding his wrist very firmly. First block, grab, and then circling down clockwise, and let him go while you're holding his wrist firmly with the left hand, striking to the target 천령. This is a reversal maneuver of a technique number 19. Evasion, grabbing, and then counterclockwise circular down. Then striking to the vital point called 아문 between rear neck and head with the taken weapon. In 전사도, there are 365 vital points to be practiced on. Each has a unique character, therefore need to be handled accordingly. 아문 is very close to the brain and neck spinal cord. Therefore, you must utilize special caution in practice. Step in aggressively with cross forearm block. While he is stunned, pull the hair backward. Once he is down on the floor, then reverse vertical wrist lock technique. Press your force toward the opponent in a vertical angle. Stepping in and block with the two hands. Pulling the hair to the rear direction. At the same time, maintain your grip to his wrist tightly. Then reverse vertical wrist lock while you are securing his elbow with the other hand and press firmly. This technique is called the 봉다리 머리 뽑기, stick barricade hair pull. Get in and take the stick. Position yourself behind opponent's body and immobilize his both legs and pull his hair from behind. It is a difficult maneuver, but also highly effective. Get in by blocking and move his arm, get his stick and barricade his both legs, and then pull the hair to the behind. Block and grab his arm, go under his armpit, and then do the shoulder lock and keep moving to the behind of the opponent. This is called the 겨드랑이 털어엎기, bicep and elbow joint hyperextension. This type of a combined response damages the opponent, so he is unable to respond. You can unbalance his body and confuse his mind, and also you can intensify your next technique. Once you get the momentum of attack, keep moving toward the direction in which your opponent feels most uncomfortable. This is called the 날개 꺾기, transformed half Nelson. Cover yourself and get in, grab one arm and put the other hand under his other arm and apply the half Nelson. Press his body to be twisted 15-degree angle and keep pressing in a circular direction. Knowing the physical skills of an art is not enough. If you want the edge, you need a strategy. 전사도, the way of a combat expert, will teach you many more there is to know about the strategy in combat. Regardless of your style, they can be easily applicable.